This is the Dave and Creech Show, the only podcast where podcaster CJ Creech and actor Dave Sheridan come together to talk all things entertainment with your favorite entertainers. Want to ask our guests a question? Tweet them to @DaveSheridan or @CJCNOV88, and they may be asked to our guests live on the show. We do have to ask you stay seated during the podcast because this ride may get a little bit hilarious. Now here's your hosts, Dave and Creech.
Hey everybody out there, welcome to episode 27 of the Dave and Creech Show. You're listening to us on iTunes, Spreaker, you can watch us on YouTube, or you may be listening in live on WROM.
You are Creech.
Exactly. I am Creech, and he's Dave.
I am Dave. Dave Sheridan. Got a really good show. This is actually I think it's a phenomenal show. It's going to be a real fun show. I've been waiting to kind of chat with this guy for a while because it's been a while since I've seen him. Last time I saw him was at a restaurant, and we just hung out a little bit. Danny Trejo is coming on the episode to chat all things Mr. Trejo, his ability, his youthfulness. I mean, the man is 72 years old, and he looks like he's 49. You know, he's an icon. We have an iconic actor on our show tonight. You know that?
We have got a legend of cinema on today.
Yeah, this is a guy that's recognizable. If he's ordering pizza somewhere in Des Moines, Iowa, somebody will go, "That's Danny Trejo. He's ordering pizza." You know what I mean? You know you've made it when you're a Snickers bar commercial.
Right?
You could just put his face on a T-shirt, and 80% of the people would say that's Danny Trejo. So he'll be on. We're going to chat with him, and we're going to really focus on, we had director Craig Moss on last week, which is how we got Danny on this week, talking about their next upcoming film, Social Security, which currently they have a really cool Indiegogo campaign going right now. And I like a lot of these campaigns, but this one's really unique. I love the rewards that they've come up with, having lunch with Danny punching you in the face, Danny cheating on your girlfriend for you, Danny pretending that you're getting stalked. He'll basically stand outside a yard at night, and you can take a photo and call the cops saying there's some intimidating guy. There's just tons of stuff that they're offering. I made up some of that, but some of it is real. Go to Indiegogo and search the keyword Danny Trejo, and it will take you to Social Security, and you can basically check out the rewards. It's for a good cause. They're giving some of the proceeds to actually support, senior citizens and senior citizen care and stuff like that. The movie itself is just worth it alone. I mean, I want to see this film, Danny Trejo, fighting it out with bad guys in an assisted living home. Come on, man. It's putting the new Walker in Walker. So yeah, he's going to be on. We're going to have Craig Moss on with him. They're going to chat about Social Security. They're going to chat about the Indiegogo. We've got some news. We're going to check in on David Davidson, making sure the kid still has a pulse. What is his blood alcohol level? We're going to talk about other things. How's your week been, Creech? Has it been hot?
Yeah, actually, it has been very hot. I do want to address, before I get into just how hot it was, the elephant in the room. For those listening on WROM, the quality of the audio this week is not the greatest. Unfortunately, me and Dave are just super busy, so yeah, while I'm recording on the regular mic stuff, Dave is in a car with AC, so that's why he sounds like he has a sock in his mouth when he's talking. But yeah, it's been, I think, mostly in the hundreds every single day. Like yesterday, it topped out at 105. It's been ridiculous here.
You had car trouble because of the heat last week, right? So I had to cover for you.
Yeah, that you did. And if I do say so myself, you did a pretty fantastic job, Dave.
Thank you. So we're going to chat about a bunch of stuff. Got some things in the news. Doofy has popped up. He's made a top 10 list. We're going to talk about where Doofy falls in the echelons of theatrical police, movie police, movie cops. Where does Doofy fall? There's something. There was I guess you could vote on it, right? This is a poll. He landed at least in the top 10, but let's chat about where he really should stand.
What else is going on? How's the David Davidson?
David is good, I guess. I haven't really talked to him that much this week. Maybe a message on Facebook here or there, but we haven't actually really talked at all this week, honestly.
You haven't talked to him in like a week, not because he's not like passed out somewhere in a corner. Is that not why you're, you know what I mean? Like he's able to get on the phone and stuff, right?
Well, I mean, you know, I do have him on my Facebook and on my Twitter, and he is fairly active on that. I mean, I'll see posts every now and then on those accounts, so he's definitely doing, I guess, fine. I mean, he's not out, you know, gone for days on some bender or anything. He is accounted for.
You're saying he puts down the bottle long enough to get the fingers going a little bit and make a little post here and there.
Well, the thing that's kind of weird about his Facebook, which I guess it isn't really weird if you think about it, but most of his posts aren't, like, live, whereas most people are reacting, oh, I've had a crappy day. His are usually thought out well in advance, and he'll write them, and he'll set them for a date and time to post. So while it's not a technical up-to-the-date account of his life, it's still fairly recent, I would say, to know that he's not out doing that right at this moment.
I know the very reason he schedules it, to have alibis. The guy's a lush. The guy's a binge drinker. He's leaving Las Vegas. He's in a hot trunk somewhere drinking a case of, you know, O'Doul's. I don't know what the hell he's drinking, but this is almost certainty. This is almost a guaranteed fact. This is what we're dealing with here. We're going to have some sort of, I think we're going to, you know, you're going to have to rig up something where he's going to come to one of these conventions. We're going to have an intervention. The intervention convention, as we will call it.
The intervention convention. You know, I kind of like the sound of that. Well, if you for sure are going to be able to make it to Charlotte in late December, I will be there, obviously, and he will be there. So if you want to do this intervention convention, which I believe we should totally trademark, December in Charlotte is going to be the place to do it.
Yeah, no, I think I can make it to Charlotte. But, he's going to listen to this, though, so like broadcasting, you're going to do an intervention on someone. It's like texting them ahead of time, saying, "Hey, yeah." I'm surprised that, you know, they should have had some cool like hipster car with like lots of bottle holders and beer holders and called it the Betty Ford. Like a Ford should have manufactured the Betty Ford. You know what I mean? And it would have had a little refrigerator and it would have been like extra cup holders for your alcohol, and you know, would have had like the bumper car type of bumpers and stuff that you could get home. You could drunk drive. It's going to be totally like a tank. You know what I mean? And it's got airbags and just the Betty Ford. It'll get you home. You know, get you home safe no matter how drunk you are. So it's like that would be a funny little car. They should have came out with that.
Yeah, I wouldn't even just say a funny little car. I mean, that could be comedy gold if somebody were to do a skit with that.
Yeah, I see it like an SNL skit thing. But, you know, by us announcing we're going to have this intervention on the David Davidson, we can't really do it at the convention, even though it's the intervention convention, because he's going to know. He's going to listen to the show. He's going to know. So now we have to. What we'll do is we'll just keep saying we're going to do it, and then he'll always be on guard. He'll always be packing one extra pair of underwear, thinking he's being shipped off to some ranch in Minnesota somewhere to get sober for 6 weeks, you know. But reality is we need to spring it on him. You know, if we're really good friends, we need to have an intervention as many times as possible, just constantly. I think we need to go to his work. You know what I mean? I think we need to go to a family function or something very private, whatever it is. Like, does he have a day job?
He doesn't. Actually, he is living the retired life currently.
Of course he doesn't. He's an alcoholic. So let me ask you a question about David Davidson. He's wine and chocolate, pretexting. He's sending out, he's got he's got enough time to sit down and organize his tweets and his texts in a calendar. He has them automatically sent out. And that's how he got involved with the cons, is because is he a little bit of a comic guy or a sci-fi sort of guy? He's into the Firefly thing, the Joss Whedon. What is that? What his situation is? How did you get involved with him in the first place?
Medium-sized story short. We used to work together in a call center about 4 or 5 years ago, and we chatted occasionally. It wasn't anything outside of work. However, Walker Stalker Atlanta was coming up. I believe this was 2014, and at this point I was already assembling my crew to do the filming and recording of these events for press.
Right.
Now, the people that I normally would bring, one of them literally dropped out probably about a week or two before, and I knew that he was a fan of The Walking Dead. We had chatted, I believe, on Facebook a couple of times before that, and one of his friends couldn't go, so me and him started talking about that, and I asked him to go, and he did, and pretty much every event since then, he's been there. The only ones he hasn't done was Days of the Dead in Atlanta and Mad Monster Party in Charlotte.
Got it. I understand now. So he's not somebody that's really he's not like an avid collector, and he's not running around to all these sci-fi conventions and stuff. It was just more he had the ability, he had the talents of what you needed to assist you. And, you knew you could at least persevere a 6-hour car ride with a guy as long as you got him his alcohol. He was going to be somebody that would at least sit in the seat long enough and not, you wouldn't have to kick him out of the car as long as you can sedate him enough with his cheese and his wine and his chocolate-covered strawberries and stuff like that. So, and then he was also a fan of The Walking Dead, and since you were doing mostly the Walker Stalker cons, it was a good fit. But he's not somebody that's out there trying to find Roger Corman's Death Race 1000 poster and stuff like that. You're saying, right?
Exactly.
Got it. Yeah, because the people that buy stuff, they spend money. They spend about at least on average $250. It's not $300, maybe $500. I mean, obviously there's people that could spend a lot more, but anywhere from $150 to $250 at these conventions, on top of the travel and the hotel and then the tickets and stuff like that. But they're collectors. They want the autograph pictures. They want they look for cool items at the toy things and have you come and sign that. Like, oh, look at this Doofy doll I found. We signed a Doofy doll. So they and their homes are that is their investment, you know what I mean? Because they're investing in their collections, and then eventually there's a whole nother level of reselling the stuff on eBay and stuff like that, So I have a buddy of mine, he's a big collector. He's got some of the most complete Walking Dead stuff, some of the collections he's got. Some of the Walking Dead stuff I've seen, he's definitely has a very superior collection of Walking Dead memorabilia and signatures and stuff like that. And but when he sort of sometimes he shifts and trades. If some guy's got some Kiss item that he wants, he'll trade him the katana sword, or plus $8,000 or whatever, or he'll sell some items. So there's a sort of, what's the word I'm looking for there? There's a market, but there's kind of a commerce. There's a sort of underground commerce between the collectors of trading stuff or, trading but with also some cash, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a whole nother level to it. Some people they're not really fans. They just collect stuff because it's like a currency, and they are currency collectors. You know, they're collecting stuff. They're out there looking for something, a bargain, going, let me get this guy early. You know what I mean? Let me go get those Sons of Anarchy guys now on the first season, and then I'm going to turn around and sell this fast after season 6. I invested $250, and now it's worth $8,000, and they go and sell it. You know? I've never really asked, but I see enough of these people around at these conventions that they do it so much that they must make some sort of capital to support themselves along the way. I should have did that. I should have did that when I was doing some of these cons. I should just pick something, you know, like, say, with The Walking Dead, you know, I've met so many of them now, the actors and stuff, and being at these conventions, I should have just got a sheriff shirt early on and just had everyone start signing it. You know what I'm saying? And I think I should do that, because otherwise I'm just sitting there. I wouldn't say I'm wasting my own time, but because I'm meeting some great people, some great fans and stuff, but it would be it would help my ADD and my OCD. It would help me, like, kind of knowing that I'm on a little mini mission, you know, to start to go to these things. That, I'm going to set my aside going, I'm going to get these 5 people sign this, you know. Maybe that's how I'll get into collecting all of a sudden. Now I'm the collector, the bone collector. Well, what's going on in the news? Anything in the news?
Yeah, actually, both news topics this week are from basically things that we've talked about on previous podcasts. This first one actually comes from the very first episode that we did on WROM. And to our podcast listeners, I believe it was the podcast with Alexandra Breckenridge. I'm not 100% sure. But anyway, self-driving cars. And when you talked about how you wanted to own a self-driving car, well, the first fatality from a self-driving car happened over the weekend.
Hey, don't try to throw me under the bus here. I wasn't saying I can't wait to get my hand on one in the year 2016. I'm talking, like I said, I'm a descendant of cowards and lucky people. So I will always take that into the thing that A, I'm a coward, and B, I want to be lucky. The lucky guy is not the guy that's beta testing the self-driving car in the year 2016. I'm talking the year 2025 when I know it's all worked out. And secondly, I think the only way self-driving cars will work is if they mandate that everyone's got self-driving cars. So therefore, because you know, what if there's some granny out there? So you're going to talk about the Tesla has had some incidences with their
actually,
they don't have an autonomous self-driving car, but they have a highway setting that when you're on the highway, it will keep your speed and it will keep you in a lane, and it will brake if there's some sort of thing. That's what it's meant to do. So you can zone out a little bit, but you're not supposed to read a newspaper. It's not, you know.
Well, no, I get that. And for full clarification, this wasn't a newspaper for this instance. I know you're just using that example. He was actually watching Harry Potter. But here's the other thing. And this is actually a pretty decent fact. I mean, while I'm not meaning to make fun of the fact that you want to drive a self-driving car, of course, but this is the first fatality since they've started doing this, and it has logged over all the cars that they've got out there right now, the self-driving ones, logged in over 150 million miles. So, I mean, that's actually a decent statistic there, I have to admit.
There's definitely more idiots out there texting without the self-driving cars that are fatally getting killed more than that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. That is a safer car, but yet they're going to throw it under saying, oh my gosh, self-driving cars are dangerous. And so, hopefully they recognize it. No, a 16-year-old trying to take a selfie and text and produce a Musical.ly number in their car while they should be focused on the road is far more dangerous than some sort of than Mercedes and Tesla and Volvo and all of these companies pursuing the safety and the autonomously driving cars. Once they get that real self-driving car, Uber's done. There's no need for a thing. Then you're just going to order up your Google car any taxi drivers are done, it's just going to be a little, you know, just like with Get Your Ass to Mars. What was that movie? Total Recall. Remember with Johnny Cash? That's definitely for sure the next 5 years. I can see that something happening in the next 5 years where you'll be able to get your cars, you know, your car to the airport will be self-driven.
Yeah, well, they do obviously still need to work out some bugs because while the guy who died, like I had said earlier, was watching Harry Potter, what happened was apparently there was some kind of glitch in that system, and it wasn't recognizing that there was a white tractor trailer in front of them. So apparently the camera, it was blending in with either the sky or the road or something. Whatever it was, it could not see this car. And so when it needed to stop, it didn't, and it wound up killing him.
That's terrible. What was the tractor trailer hauling, you think? Was it like live chickens or, you know, Baby Ruth bars or like Swanson Hungry Man meals, Salisbury steak Swanson Hungry Man meals? Do you know what the truck that he hit was, you know, got splattered all over the road with the Tesla and the guy in the self-driving car with Harry Potter continuing to roll? You know, can you imagine being the EMT and you got this mangled car, the guy's dead, and I feel for his family, and a human being did die, but Harry Potter is still rolling, and maybe one guy hasn't seen Harry Potter, and he's kind of caught up in it, but meanwhile there's lots of poultry just running around the street. And what do you know what got hit? I wonder if the tractor trailer that it didn't recognize.
I don't know it was in the tractor trailer. It didn't state in the article, so of course we'll probably need to do a little bit more digging, and I'm sure we can find that answer out.
Just to let you know, there are a lot of white 18-wheelers out there, so it's going to be a while before they say, hey, you got to make them all red, you know, it seems like that. So I think they're going to have to fix the glitch before they get Billy Bob and his brother Joey Joe to paint their 18-wheelers at, you know, $2,000 a pop. Those guys ain't doing that, you know what I mean?
Indeed I do. But that's pretty much going to wrap up that news topic. The next one that we want to get before we get into our Danny Trejo interview, I talked about it last week. You actually weren't available last week when we talked about it in the news section, but you made the list of the top 8 hilarious movie cops on Watchmojo.com's list.
Yeah, I was number 8, right?
Yes, number 8. And what we're going to do, we're going to actually play through this video of the top 10 because I know beforehand you were interested in finding out who are the others. So what we're going to do is we're going to play each number as it comes along, and then we'll let you react to it since we've already got my reactions. But this is your first time hearing it, so let us know what you think.
You have the right to remain hilarious. Welcome to Watchmojo.com, and today we'll be counting down our picks for the top 10 hilarious movie cops.
Freeze, cop!
Uh-oh, trouble! For this list, we're taking a look at police officers in movies with a license to make us laugh.
Yeah, very funny.
Number 10, Marge Gunderson, Fargo.
And here you are. And it's a beautiful day.
Part of what makes this pregnant police chief so funny is her positive outlook on life.
Did you hear the one about the guy couldn't afford personalized plates, so he went and changed his name to J3L2404?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Despite constantly being surrounded by violence and mayhem, she maintains a strong sense of optimism and a chipper attitude.
How you doing, Marchie? How's the fricassee?
Pretty darn good. You want some?
Wanting to see the best in people, Margie can be a little naive and overly trusting.
Okay. Are you sure? Because, I mean, how do you know?
Being the smartest and most level-headed character in Fargo, though, she's able to crack the case and catch the bad guys.
And for what? For a little bit of money. There's more to life than a little money, you know.
Even when apprehending a lethal criminal, Margie still acts as a ray of hope for humanity and a source of humor.
You okay, Margie?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's just morning sickness. Well, that passed.
Okay, all right. Wouldn't say she's hilarious, but I'll give it to her. Go ahead.
Number 9. Sarah Ashburn and Shannon Mullins, The Heat.
Could you just maybe close the door on the way out?
I'll shut the door on you.
Like all buddy cop movies, The Heat largely succeeds thanks to the chemistry between its two leads.
What are those?
What are those? Stop it. They're my Spanx. They hold everything together.
Why? What's gonna come popping out?
Nothing. It just keeps everything where it's supposed to be, like in...
Shit, like medically?
Over a decade after patrolling the runway in Miss Congeniality, Sandra Bullock plays another comedic FBI agent as the thorough, by-the-books Sarah Ashburn. She's hilariously complimented by Melissa McCarthy's Shannon Mullins, a hard-hitting, brash cop who doesn't always play by the rules.
Will you lay down here, put your head in the door, and I'll slam it about 157,000 times.
Oh shit, girl, you better run.
While their law enforcement techniques couldn't be any more different, the two surprisingly balance each other out and combine as an awesome crime-fighting duo. Together, they create the perfect recipe for justice and comedy.
I'm almost disappointed.
Get me out.
All right, let's pull him up.
No, wait, I'm not kidding anymore, really. I can't lift him up.
What? No.
I can't lift him.
I didn't see that movie. I didn't see it. I auditioned for a role, and I didn't get the role, so therefore I didn't watch the movie. I was like, didn't get the role. So, okay. And then number 8 is Doofy.
Number 8, Doofy Gilmore, Scary Movie.
Special Officer Doofy reporting.
The cops in all slasher flicks are, for lack of a better word, doofuses. Scary Movie takes this trope to another level by portraying one of the cops as mentally challenged.
I said don't disturb you, I'm cleaning my room.
A takeoff of the incompetent Deputy Dewey from Scream, Doofy Gilmore brings a whole new level to the title Special Officer.
Mom said get home now.
Tell Mom I'm on official police business.
Sporting a backpack and a badge made out of paper, he looks more like an 8-year-old playing dress-up than a real law enforcement officer. This is apparently a turn-on for reporter Gail Hailstorm, however.
Well, you don't look a day over 12.
Yeah.
Except for the big head and glazed-over look in your eyes.
Although people might laugh and make fun of him, Doofy plays everyone for fools when it's all said and done.
Okay, I'm gonna go then. All right.
You know, technically he's not really a police officer, so I'm kind of on that list of legally. I do think that he's a fitting number 1, not only because of myself that I'm in it, and I'm not saying that in a braggadocious way, but just his look and the outfit. And you're already telling me the list. The other ones are all very normal characters. Do you know what I mean? They're funny, but they're like Fargo's not even like really, I wouldn't call it comedy, but it's humorous, but it's not hilarious. The Heat is a comedy, but it's like one of these Beverly Hills Cops type of comedies, right?
Yeah.
I just think if you click on number 1 and you're looking at Doofy's face with the saluting and stuff and the drool, come on, like that. It's more fitting because he's so far outside of the box. It's more fitting for him to be sort of at the top of the Christmas tree because because he's also Doofy. He'd be like, yay, I won, number 1. You know what I mean? He's the only one that would really even care about this list. Okay, so who's number 7?
Number 7, Alan Gamble and Terry Hoyts, The Other Guys.
You can't keep me cooped up in here, okay? I am a peacock. You gotta let me fly.
What happens when the super cops plummet to their untimely deaths? You call up the other guys.
Then you got your jokers, your ball busters, your vets, and the other guys.
It's not at all surprising that none of their fellow officers take Alan and Terry seriously.
Stop humming that song.
I can hum if I want to.
One is a nerdy forensic accountant who isn't even allowed to carry a gun.
Forensic accounting. Okay, and it's an important part of the job.
Yeah, whatever.
The other, well, he kind of accidentally shot Derek Jeter during the World Series.
Are you deaf? You hear me yell freeze?
You dick! I'm Derek Jeter, you shot me!
Regardless, both try to demonstrate that there's more to them than meets the eye. The two not only prove themselves to be unlikely badasses, but also prove that most cop movie cliches are total BS.
Oh, this is a shithole.
For example, walking away from an explosion is easier said than done.
I can't hear! I can't hear!
So the other guys, and then now completely, I understand it's a different movie, but it's almost just like The Heat. It's a two-hander. Are there going to be a lot of these two-hander guys? Are we going to get into Kevin Hart and Ice Cube in Drive Along? Is this what it's going to come down to? Is this it's the same? Because that formula is always the same. It's the reluctant guy and the gung-ho person. You know what I mean? It's always the same thing of somebody going like, God damn it, what are you doing? He's like, relax, I got this. if they always say, relax, I got this, and the other one's like, going like, what the hell are you doing? Or some sort of catchphrase that's always in there. All right, what's the next one?
Number 6, Slater and Michaels. Superbad.
Oh my God, that is bona fide badass, man. Oh, you gotta keep that tape. Yeah.
The most immature characters in Superbad aren't any of the horny teenagers, but these two reckless cops.
Learning you are, young Padawan. Thank you very much.
Slater and Michaels aren't exactly interested in upholding the law. They're more interested in exploiting their positions of power to abuse it.
Oh my God. It worked! It worked! We won!
Drinking on the job, speeding through traffic, and destroying police cars. These man-children practically get away with murder.
Can we shoot at it?
I don't know. Can you?
Upon encountering the awkward Fogel, aka McLovin, Slater and Michaels decide to show him that cops can be cool too. They don't make for the best mentors, but Slater and Michaels do help to guide Fogel, so to speak.
McLovin! Nice!
Came back. I took him down.
I'm buying you a beer, McLovin!
I'm buying you one too.
Again, it's the buddy thing, but they're not the whole movie, and they are just. I could see them being that's a good call. Those guys are funny, and those are funny characters. What's the next one?
Number 5, Morton Schmidt and Greg Jenko, 21 Jump Street franchise.
We got a pound of Coke? Trying to show them a good time, not ruin their f***ing lives.
While the 21 Jump Street TV series was a standard police drama, the film reboot was essentially a satire of the original.
Sir, I know we come off as a couple of lady killers, but I promise you we will be super professional on the job.
Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum make for an endearing pair as Schmidt and Jenko, respectively.
I might become popular. I might fit in with the popular kids. We just have to do something wildly irresponsible to earn their trust.
You saying we should throw a party?
Just barely able to pass themselves off as teenagers, the two officers are enlisted for an undercover program.
You will be going undercover as high school students. You are here simply because you look young.
It would have been easy for Schmidt to simply be the dumpy dork and Jenko to be the thick-headed jock. However, both are often required to step out of their comfort zones to adapt to their environments. This makes for many comedic possibilities and a bromance for the ages.
Say something cool when you throw it! 1, 2, 3! Something cool!
What the hell are you doing? Relax, I got this. I'm sure there was some of that in that movie. Yeah, that was a funny movie. I liked the first one. I didn't see the second one. I'm gonna go try to watch that second one. What's the next one?
Number 4, Larval Jones, Police Academy franchise.
What's your name? Jones. Larval Jones.
The Police Academy movies naturally have their fair share of funny cops, such as the timid Laverne Hooks. The franchise's MVP, however, has got to be Larval Jones.
Daniel! Wanna fight, huh? Fight me!
Michael Winslow is the only performer who could bring this character to life.
What are you in for? I'll show you.
God damn it, stop that!
Being a one-of-a-kind talent with a knack for sound effects, this cop of a million noises uses his incredible vocal abilities not only to trick criminals, but also to mess with his fellow officers.
You hear that? No, sir.
Even if this series is admittedly an acquired taste, nobody can deny that Larval steals every scene he's in.
Well, let's just get out of here. No.
I would put him at I gotta see who else is on there, but so far, when you're talking hilarious, these other ones are comedies. That guy was hilarious. You know what I mean? And I hope the Reno 9/11 guys are on there because they did do a feature film. I would put them up at the Thomas Lennon character guy with the short shorts. He definitely deserves to be on this list. I don't know what his character's name was, but that's hilarious. So far we've got Michael Winslow going, whatever it is. Him and Doofy together would be hilarious. Like, I would like to book him at a convention and put him on a panel, but then I play Doofy, but we play Doofy as if Doofy is there. He's a fan of Michael Winslow's, and Doofy is constantly doing all the sound effects and the noises and all that stuff. Like Doofy is a fan of that guy and doesn't understand that that guy's not a real cop either.
Number 3, Axel Foley, Beverly Hills Cop franchise.
Disturbing the piece I got thrown out of a window!
A role initially written with Sylvester Stallone in mind, Axel Foley's character went through some significant changes when Eddie Murphy signed up for Beverly Hills Cop.
This is some kind of joke, right?
Murphy, who previously played Nick Nolte's comedic foil in 48 Hours, turned Axel into a wisecracking smartass with a badge.
Are you driving with your eyes open? Are you like using the force?
Although some questioned his methods, the streetwise Axel is much slicker than he looks.
Hey! Tell you how long you're gonna break it!
I need authorization.
Authorize!
Loyal to his friends and always on the lookout for other officers, Axel was born to be a cop. Considering his foul mouth and countless one-liners, though, he could have just as easily been a stand-up comedian.
Oh, you said they had no guns! They must have changed their worldview.
So I'll give him that. I'll give you that one. Eddie Murphy.
Number 2, Inspector Jacques Clouseau, the Pink Panther franchise.
You will behave like this and I'll have your stripes.
While Jacques Clouseau was arguably more of a supporting player in the original Pink Panther, this bumbling inspector quickly took over the entire series in subsequent installments.
Nothing matters but the facts. Without them, the science of criminal investigation is nothing more than a guessing game.
Clouseau's clumsy and oblivious nature constantly results in disaster, not to mention ingenious physical comedy.
We must find that woman.
In the event that he does actually foil an evildoer, it's usually thanks to dumb luck.
There is a time and a place for everything, Kato. And this is it.
A master of slapstick and improvisation, Peter Sellers fashioned this character into a comedic force unlike any other. For our money, there's only one true Inspector Clouseau, and we ain't talking about Steve Martin.
Inspector! Do you know if the killer was a man or a woman? Well, of course I know that. What else is there? A kitten?
I would give Inspector Clouseau number 1. For sure. 100%. He's the entire reason I'm even in comedy. I love those movies when I was a kid. I was like 4 years old, and 4 or 5. I remember seeing them in the movie theater. I don't remember which Pink Panther I saw. I actually think I saw the Pink Panther, Revenge of the Pink Panther, maybe, or something like that. It wasn't the very first one, but it was the second or third one in the movie theater. Then I went back and I watched the other 2, which the first one wasn't really so this might have been the second one. The first one wasn't like a comedy. You know what I mean? The Pink Panther. It was, and I forget who else was in it. You know, it was a little bit more, you know, he wasn't the complete goofball and he wasn't the main character. Then they made him the main character in the other ones. But they're great. They're great films. The ones with Steve Martin, come on, you know.
Number 1, Frank Drebin, the Naked Gun franchise.
Whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah.
The reason this member of Police Squad stands out as the most hilarious cop in film is largely because he's completely clueless about his incompetence.
I've heard police work is dangerous.
It is. That's why I carry a big gun.
Aren't you afraid it might go off accidentally?
I used to have that problem.
And what did you do about it?
I just think about baseball.
The great Leslie Nielsen played this role with an unyielding straight face, never acknowledging the stupidity of his character or the absurdity of his circumstances.
Do you realize that because of you, this city is being overrun by baboons?
Well, isn't that the fault of the voters?
Whether driving a tank, starting a fire, or going undercover at a baseball game, Nielsen owned the screen in this career-defining role.
Have you found him yet? No, and I've searched almost everybody. Yeah, I saw that.
When it comes to making us laugh, Frank Drebin never failed to get a bingo.
Bingo.
Okay, 100%. Well earned. Yeah, I agree. That's one I didn't think about. It was also a TV show before it was a movie. But yeah, those are hilarious. Those are really funny. He played a cop. I forgot that. I would still put Inspector Clouseau above him just because of the physical humor and because it was before, you know, Peter Sellers was doing this stuff in the 70s and this guy was like mid-80s doing it, the thing. But I would say, you know, Inspector Clouseau number 1, this guy number 2, you know, probably put Doofy at number 4, Lethal Weapon guys at number 3, you know, so whatever. But I would also put the Lennon's character from Reno 9/11, or just the Reno 9/11 group. I'd put them up in the top 5.
I couldn't agree with you more there, especially with Reno 911. Love that show. However, that is going to be it for the news today. Let's go ahead and get into our interview with Craig Moss and Danny Trejo. Hey guys, thank you again for joining us, Craig for the second time, and Danny, welcome to the Dave and Creech Show.
Of course, man. Thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Well, Danny, I first want to start off by saying it just won't be me doing the interview today. It'll also be my co-host, Dave Sheridan.
You mean finally? What are you talking? Yo!
What's up?
What is going on?
This Danny Trejo. We did Bubble Boy together.
Yeah.
And
hey, man.
And that family film, Devil's Rejects.
Oh, the old get-together film. My kids love it. I like playing it at Christmas. Guys, you want to around the Yule log, except it's actually Yul Brenner's head, the Yule log. Yeah. Yeah, well, we had Craig on last week to talk about Social Security and the Indiegogo thing, and I was telling him how still to this date, I still think your role in Bubble Boy is by far the best Danny Trejo role I've ever seen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Are you kidding?
I go, it's because it's the one that no one sees coming. And honestly, that was like, I'm sure you did for that, but that was the one where I obviously knew how funny you were and what kind of comedy you really bring to everything. I mean, look at the machetes and stuff. Those are so funny, because they're a send-up of action movies. So.
Where did you what we did last night?
Oh no! Why? What did you do last night?
What was that? What was that? Craig? I don't know. Something. We were on the stage.
Oh, the thing. Oh yeah. Okay. So we did a podcast called Doug Loves Movies. Have you heard of that?
Oh yeah.
With Doug Benson, who at the
right.
UCB. And they do it in front of a live audience, and it was hilarious. I mean, Danny was hilarious. He was so funny, and it was a lot of fun. So
that was at UCB. Danny you went to the live? You went there live?
Yeah, we went there live. So they had
okay.
this. Yeah, it was great. So they had Danny was there, and they had a couple other people, but Danny was like, was everyone.
We had the kid from Jurassic Park.
Yeah. You remember the boy, the little boy in Jurassic Park?
The original
one?
Yeah,
but he's not a kid no more.
Yeah. It was the original one from like 93, and he's now probably like 30.
Don't they all go on to do gay porn, all those little boys? Like
you know what?
Spielberg
you know what childhood stars hate? When you say, hey, you were that kid, and they're 40 years old.
Exactly. You could tell he was. I think he kind of he wanted to move on from that role.
I think that's the thing. I think I have children. I know, Danny, you got kids. Your son Gilbert's filmmaker and stuff like that. And my kids are 8 and 10 now. They're just getting to that age where I could throw them and exploit them because they're really cute. But I feel like any child actor should have in his contract that he gets that the studio has to pay for the rehab, you know what I mean, and the therapy later on.
Absolutely. I know very few. The only one that's really famous that did it was Shirley Temple.
Yep.
Yeah. Shirley Temple.
She was the only one that came up as a child star and didn't end up in rehab. Well, she might have. I don't know.
No, I think
Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell pulled it off.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
God, yeah.
But you know what?
Yeah,
you bang a chick like Goldie Hawn, and you got his looks, and you're Snake Plissken. Yeah, okay, you're going to be set. Most of them grow up to be awkward, and that's the problem. Kurt Russell was a good-looking boy, and he grew up to be a good-looking man. You know what I mean? You're Richie Cunningham. He figured out, okay, I got to get into directing.
Yeah, no, he was cool. He was cool. That was
he would have. Yeah, he would have driven off a cliff. If Ron Howard would have just tried to stay with acting, he would have driven off a cliff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. What else could he do?
Yeah, exactly. He's got the voice for radio, as they say. Last week we were talking. How old are you, man? You know, it's not a secret. You're like 71 or 70 or something like that.
72.
Yeah. 72.
Yeah, I'll be 73 in May. When I turn 75, I'm going to run the LA Marathon.
Well, you heard it here first on the Dave and Creech Show.
I'll be at one of the water stops high-fiving. Never running.
Yeah, I've been staying in pretty good shape. You know,
My wife ran the marathon. My wife ran a marathon about 5 years ago, and you know they say, hey, it's good for someone close to you to support you and run the last 5 miles, like hop in to get you there, right? And I kind of hurt my movie set like 2 weeks before, and I had a sore knee. But I told my wife, I said, I'm going to go and run that last 5 miles with you. But I started running like 1 mile. I didn't train or nothing. I mean, we're talking 5 fucking miles here, right? But my knee starts blowing up, and I'm just in the biggest pain. And she's so pissed off at me because I'm stealing all the thunder because everyone's like, medical people are coming up to me. Oh, you know, people are high-fiving me like, you can make it. And I was like, I just hopped in this goddamn thing, right? And she's like, you're annoying me. Just stop. You're not helping me. Because I was like, I'm like leaning on her. I'm leaning on her to get me across the finish line. And they put one of those silver blankets around me and put me in like.
You know what? I actually quit at like mile 23. I sat down and said, shit, call me a cab. And I'm looking for a cell phone. No, wait. I look down. Here's a guy on crutches, right? There's a guy on crutches with 2 gorgeous pit bulls, and he's like him and his girlfriend are like, come on, honey, you can make it. And I gave the dog some water. And this guy looks at me and goes, we're going to make it, brother. We're going to make it. Shit. So I had to keep running.
Oh, man.
Great. That's very funny.
Yeah. It's a good segue into Social Security because, you know, here you are turning 72. At 75, you're going to rerun the marathon. This time you're going to finish it. You know, I mean, look, by the way, just you know, obviously, you know, you're a proud Mexican heritage, Mexican American now, and you know, it's you guys have done enough running. The last Mexicans don't really belong in marathons. You know what I mean? It's like you guys you're already running and hopping and coming up over here. The last thing
you don't understand. We're born with the instinct to immediately start running north.
Yeah, exactly. So if a marathon was 26, if there was marathons that went 26 miles due north in a straight line, Mexicans would always win first. They'd be beating the Kenyan people. You know
somebody has got to tell Donald Trump that they tried building a wall around China and it didn't work. It turned into a big tourist attraction.
Yeah. Hey, look, it's jobs. I think the funny thing is that Donald Trump's wall should actually just be a mall. Turn the W upside down, and you want to build the Mexican border mall because that's going to bring shops. It's going to bring commerce.
That's a great idea.
You know what I mean?
Just build a huge mall all the way across the United States.
Just a giant mall, parking lots, infrastructure. You got Annie's Pretzels. You'll have a Gap, Super Gap in there. There'll be skate parks. You need to get the guy that does the Grove. What's his name? Rick Caruso. You know, we got to get Rick Caruso out there and build Donald Trump's wall into Donald Trump's mall.
Actually, we also have to have a huge senior citizen home.
Yeah. This is why I got to get up there, dude. I mean, I actually am. I'm 47. I could run for president, but I don't look 47. They still want that mature-looking guy. Just like you're 72, dude. You look like you're 49. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, they wanted me to run like for a councilman over here. I go, there's too many skeletons.
Okay. See, that's where you're wrong. By the way, that's where you're wrong, and that's why people from Hollywood can run because they naturally assume we've got our skeletons. We are Teflon as long as we go on Howard Stern and just throw it all out.
I love Howard.
That's what I'm saying. You got to go the Howard Stern model where Howard is willing to say, he says anything. He's got no secrets. He'll say anything and he'll make his guests say anything. And therefore, as long as it's out there, people just don't like hypocrites. They don't like hypocrites. But if you could say, hey, I did this and this and this, but hey, we're talking about Danny Trejo's closet, which is actually a walk-in, cellar probably. I mean, I don't know. Now that I think of it. Wait a second. I forgot who I'm talking to. I'm talking to the guy. It's like, you probably have, I don't even want to know what the hell you've done now that I think of it. You're right. Never mind. Don't run for anything.
Hey, Craig, I like this guy.
Yeah, Dave's good. Dave is good.
So, Danny and Craig, we are here promoting your upcoming film, Social Security. Once again, for anybody who hasn't listened, what do they need to do to get to your site so they can donate?
When I was on last week and I was telling Dave, just go into Indiegogo.com and then literally search Danny Trejo, and it'll pop up and you'll see it. And then the other thing too, Dave, that I didn't mention.
Hey, by the way, I just want to let people, don't go to YouPorn and search.
No. You don't want to go to YouPorn or RedTube. You want to go to Indiegogo.com. And
so that stuff stays on your phone.
That's right. It stays on your phone.
And if you're not careful, those kind of sites can make your phone a little bit sticky too.
And then Danny and I, the one thing that we wanted to, which I didn't really mention the last time, but when doing the research for this film, we noticed that there was not a lot of a highlight on the abuse on senior citizens. And basically, there's about 5 million senior citizens that are abused every year. So we wanted to donate a portion of the proceeds from this campaign to that cause. So, obviously we want to make the film, but also we want to help with that in addition too.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, and it's true. There's that whole saying, respect your elders, and honestly, you see where Social Security is going. You see how bills are costing more and stuff like that. So for you guys to be able to raise some money here and help out a good cause, but also make an awesome, really great action movie, and it's unique. It's going to have a great spin to it, and it's comedic too. And I personally, I love it when Danny, I love it when you do the comedy stuff because I'm a funny guy, and I like it when you do the fun stuff. Obviously. You do everything, the dark stuff and the action stuff, and
exactly. And the next question is one we didn't get to ask last week with you, Craig. This is to you and Danny. Now, I know you did the Badass films together. What inspired you guys to get together and do this movie?
That's actually how it came about. We did Badass 1 and Badass on the Bayou in New Orleans, in Baton Rouge, during Mardi Gras, and so I just kind of mentioned to Craig, hey, you know what? One of these badasses would be awesome in like an old age home, and just jokingly, and then he ran with it and gave me a script. And wow, this is really funny.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, it was great because we what started out as a joke became a reality, and then we Fox was gonna do it after the last Badass film, and then they kind of shut down that division, that lower budget production division. So then Danny and I said, no, we got to make this film. We're just going to do it ourselves and get the people involved, and which actually would be even more exciting to get all the fans and the people that love the Badass films and all of Danny's films to come aboard and help make the film.
And there's different perks. There's different perks for people that donate.
Yes. A lot of cool perks.
What are some of the more unique ones that you guys are offering on Indiegogo?
Well, we've got some of the cool ones are like you get a speaking role on the film. You can produce the film. You can have lunch with Danny on set. You get like a year's supply of tacos. You can get that along with some other stuff. And
a year's supply of what? A year's supply of what?
A year's
at the restaurant.
of Trejo's Tacos.
Oh, the Trejo Tacos. I've heard about
Yeah, the restaurant I got. And also, you can get punched in the face by me, and then I can kill you in the movie, too.
I really hope if somebody's listening out there and you're wealthy enough to just do the what we would call the Indiegogo circuit, that means you purchase the one for Danny to have lunch with you. You're eating a Trejo taco while he punches you in the face and then kills you in the movie. That is I would want to invest in the whole circuit. Somebody just please, and then post that. You know what I mean? And that's like instant YouTube viral sensation that Danny Trejo punches you in the face while you're eating lunch, and you paid for it, and you paid for all of it.
Well, that's the thing about it. You pay for it. But the nice thing is you're getting beat up by one of the most iconic action stars ever. So it's like, if you're going to get beat up, you're going to want to get beat up by Danny. But the great thing too is the perks range from like $5 and they go all the way up. And it's like basically for $5 you get like a special thank you in the end credits of the film. And then for $10 you can get the script and the shot list and all the way up to like you get a T-shirt, like the coolest T-shirts that say picture of Danny. It says "Don't mess with Gramps," and so there's a bunch of great cool stuff. The poster, Danny signs the poster. There's just a million cool things that you can get for helping to be a part of. And at the end of the day, the great thing about it is when you see the film, you know that you're a part of making this movie.
Right.
And if there's a very rich lady out there, she could be my love interest.
That's right. For the right amount, you could be Dan's love interest.
Well, how old are we talking here? I mean, we're talking
if she's young,
love interest.
If she's young, I told Craig, if she's young, she better have daddy issues. And then Craig says, she better have granddaddy.
Right. Whatever works. It's fine. But, so, I mean, that's sort of what, is involved with this thing. So, I mean, we're going to have a lot of fun doing this. We're making the movie, and we're excited to have the fans and the people be a part of this. I think that's going to be even more exciting.
Yeah. So, Danny, what you've had such an illustrious career. I mean, you've got to be up there. I didn't look at your IMDb. I'd imagine it's 125 films, if not 175 or something like that. You've worked with, everyone from Craig to Quentin to your cousin and myself, Rob Zombie. What are besides this one, which is the next one up, and this is a great role. What is something out there that you also haven't done that you're like, I've always wanted to do that? An astronaut, a cowboy.
Me and Craig, we're thinking of doing a great Western, but a Western like the old days, shoot 'em up. Good guy, bad guy, bad, good guy, Lash LaRue, something. You know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah. Tom Mix,
Exactly. That would, I mean, Danny is made to do Westerns as well, besides everything else that he's done. And we've been talking about that sort of being the next one after this.
Yeah, I can totally see that. All right, well, let's get this thing funded.
We're excited to make this happen, and thanks again, man, for getting us on here again. And if we're going to say one more time, just go to Indiegogo.com. That's INDIEGOGO.com, and then just search Danny. There's a little search bar. You search Danny Trejo or the movie Social Security, and it'll pop up, and you click on it.
Yeah. This time, Chloe's going to be your wife in this.
What's that?
Chloe. She's going to actually be your wife in this.
Oh.
Nice.
I love that.
Remember Chloe, the girl from Bubble Boy?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
The one that went with Jake? Yeah, well, you're going to be an abuser.
Any sort of D-back role, Dave? You know what I mean?
Running out on me, champ.
I have to repeat what Dave said. Thanks again, guys, for coming on.
God bless you, Dave. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's called Trejo Tacos, too, right? And
right on. Come on down, man. It's right there on La Brea between Pico and Olympic.
Oh, yeah, okay. So it's in the Miracle Mile area?
Yeah.
Got it.
I'll come down and check that thing. I've heard great things about those. So
yeah, we'll see you there. It's healthy food. It's good food. It's typical. It's just great Mexican American food. It's awesome.
All right, man.
Have a great
guys.
weekend.
Rock and roll.
Love you, buddy.
We'll talk later.
I wanted to thank my co-host Creech for coming along. Thank you, Creech.
No problem. Thank you.
And I hope you have all your car issues straightened out now after you've gotten your thermostatic valve thing fixed. Danny Trejo, what a pleasure. Thank you for coming on the show. And Craig Moss. And just reminding everyone, Indiegogo, keyword Danny Trejo, find the film, Social Security. See if you can donate, if you can buy the cool rewards. It's worth it. It's going to be an awesome film. We're getting word out right now, so this is something you can be a part of. And that is it. The David Davidson. We learn a little bit more about him every week. Retired. Lives on a houseboat. Self-made millionaire. Alcoholic. I may play the David Davidson as a character in a movie. Maybe I'm just doing character research. All right. I'm out of here. Let's chat next week, man.
Shut up and sit down.
Thank you for listening to the Dave and Creech Show. The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are solely those of Dave and CJ. These views and opinions do not necessarily represent those of Creech Creative Productions or any of its affiliates.